So let's get sponsoring new people quickly. People like to do what they're interested in. So we must be interesting. We have to talk to people in a way that gets them to forget about their phone messages, forget about television, forget about work, forget about drama in their homes. We have to say something that gets them to think, forget that. What are you talking about? This sounds very interesting. And the way to do that is with a technique called icebreakers. It's a way of introducing our business into a social conversation. When we get started in network marketing, we don't know how to do this. And it sounds very ugly, very impolite. We might say something like, "Hi, how are you? Do you want to be a distributor?" And people go, "Oh, that's not right. Something wrong here." So we have to be interesting for them, not for us, for them. So ask yourself, what benefits in our business would be interesting for other people? I will give you some phrases to say, and then we'll add a list of benefits. So let's start with an easy phrase first. And the phrase is, would it be okay if? And it's just a simple question. Like you might say, would it be okay if you pass the tea to me so I can drink some tea? Or would it be okay if we go to see a movie? Or would it be okay if we sit down over there? So would it be okay if is a very common thing that we say, so people are not startled. They're not saying, "Oh, what are you talking about?" And it's kind of a kind suggestion. So would it be okay if we eat at this restaurant? Or would it be okay if we meet on Tuesday? Starting with would it be okay if, then we'll add what's good about our business. And I'll give you a list to start with, but you can make the list as big as you want or as small as you want. I will make this list only about opportunity, about becoming a distributor, but you can make a list about your products and how your products can help people. So are you ready to write down some ideas? So the first one would be, would it be okay if you had an extra paycheck once a month? What do you think a lot of people would say? Yeah, I'd be okay if I had an extra paycheck once a month. And now we have entered our business into a social conversation, and now they want to talk about business. Here's the next one. Would it be okay if you could fire the boss? And people say, yeah, it'd be okay if I could fire the boss. I don't like my boss. And what do you think they might say? They might say, well, how does that work? How is that possible? And now they're asking us to explain our business to them, which is what we would like. The first step is they want to know about our business. We have to make it interesting. Here's the next one. Let's say you're talking to a mother of children. You could say, would it be okay if you could work out of your home so somebody else didn't have to watch your children? And most mothers would say, yeah, that would be great. Tell me about it. I want to know. Maybe you're talking to somebody older. You might say, would it be okay if you could retire from your job 10 years early? And they would say, yeah, that would be great if I could retire from my job 10 years early. Tell me more about it. Or we could say it this way. Would it be okay if you could double your retirement pension in just 1 year? And they would say, yeah, how would I double my retirement pension in 1 year? Tell me about it. That's interesting. But maybe you're not talking to old people. Maybe you're talking to young people. So to somebody younger, they don't care about retirement. That's not interesting. You might say, would it be okay if you didn't have to work 45 years like your parents? And they say, yeah, that would be great. I don't want to work 45 years like my parents. And they say, tell me about that. Tell me now. That's great. I want to travel. I want to do other things. We could say, would it be okay if you could work 3 weeks out of the month but get paid for 4 weeks? Would it be okay if you worked for 3 weeks out of the month and get paid for 4 weeks? How many people here would like to work 3 weeks out of the month but get paid for 4 weeks? What would we say? Tell me about it. That sounds great. All right, here's a different way of saying it. Would it be okay if you had a 1-week holiday every month? Almost everybody would say, yes, I would love a 1-week holiday every month. Now we're in conversation. Now we're talking about our business. We have to do this because people don't walk up to us and look us in the eye and say, do you have a business to tell me about? They don't do that. We have to make it happen. Or you could say this. Would it be okay if you had a 6-month holiday twice a year? And people would say, that's ridiculous, but tell me about it anyway. They just aren't interested. Here's the next one. Would it be okay if you had a 5-day weekend instead of a 2-day weekend? And people say, wow, 5 days off every week instead of 2? Excellent. Let's have a cup of tea. Let's talk about that. That's interesting to me. Or, would it be okay if you never had to show up for work again? I said, wow, yeah, if I never had to go to work again, wow, what a fantastic life. And they're already creating a vision inside of their head. So would it be okay if you never had to show up for work again? Or would it be okay if you earned more money part-time than your boss does full-time? People say that's excellent. For a lady that's married, you would say, would it be okay if you earned more money part-time than your husband did full-time? For a university student, would it be okay if you earned more money part-time than your professor did full-time? We could do 100 of these. To the secretary, would it be okay if you earn more money part-time than your boss did full-time? This is getting easy. If you are interesting, people will say, let's talk about your business. And here's the good news. When they say, please tell me about your business, they have already made a decision they want to join. They say, just tell me. I'm excited. I want to do this. It's easy for us to talk to people when they are pre-sold in their mind. They say, yes, this is interesting. This is what I want. So are you ready? We're going to be interesting to our partner. So I started with a few. There's many we could do. Maybe your partner's a football fan. You might say, would it be okay if all you had to do was go to football games the rest of your life? And they go, yay. Or would it be okay if you could have a red Camaro from a part-time business? Yay. Or. Ready to grab your partner? Let's see if we can be interesting by talking to our partner by saying, would it be okay if, and look at your partner and think, what would be interesting for them? Wait, my partner's red. I'm going to talk about a red Camaro and a big check. Oh, my partner's yellow. I'm going to talk about more time with their family. Oh, my partner's blue. It gets easier and easier the more skills we learn. So turn to your partner now and ask him, would it be okay if, and let's be interesting. Let's begin. Are we ready? Okay, was that interesting? Now, there's other words that we can say. Please remember the benefits we just covered. The next set of words are, well, you know how. And we say things when we're talking to people, well, you know how it's so hot today, or well, you know how the humidity is so high. Well, you know how jobs interfere with the week, take up too much time. Or, well, you know how this team always wins. And, well, you know how this team always loses. So when we say, well, you know how, the back of people's brains has a little message. When we say, well, you know how, the back of their brain thinks, well, if I already know how, it must be true. No further proof needed. I don't need to see any literature or anything. So we are going to say something to people that they believe and that's going to be exciting to them. Let me show you how it sounds. You might say, well, you know how we would all want to fire our boss? And they're saying, yeah, I want to fire the boss. Or, well, you know how it would be great to have 2 paychecks every month instead of 1? Yeah. Well, you know how it would be great to work out of our home so we could be with our children? Yeah. Well, you know how we don't want to work 45 years like our parents? Oh, yeah. Well, you know how it would be great to set our own hours so we could be home when the children come home from school? Yeah. Or, well, you know how it would be great to have enough money to have a maid and a cook and somebody to do the laundry? Yeah. Or, well, you know how it would be fun to have a yellow Camaro? Yeah, yellow Camaro. Or, well, you know how it's common, ordinary conversation. We say that, and then we give one of the benefits we talked about earlier, and people will be going, yeah, that would be great. And now, again, we're in conversation about our business. So the skill is to take our conversation from social chit-chat, how are you, how's the children, to let's talk about business. And if we can do that smoothly, people won't be shocked. They will go along with our conversation very easily. So I'd like you to just try the words, well, you know how, and give people one of the benefits. Just see how it feels, and then I'll give you the next set of words that we're going to learn. Is everybody ready? Turn to your partner and say, well, you know how, and give them a benefit you think would be appropriate. Let's begin.
Hello.
Come down. Yeah. All right. We get them started. Okay, do we have well, you know how done? Here is the next phrase. I just found out. I just found out. Now, when we say I just found out, other people go, whoa, what'd you find out? And they forget all what they were thinking because they're curious. What did you find out? I just found out is a very powerful phrase because people say, forget all my thoughts, forget them. What did you find out? I need to know, and that means they're going to hear what we say. So let's try these words very quickly. We're going to turn to our partner and say, I just found out how we can get an extra paycheck. I just found out how we can fire the boss. I just found out how we can have a 5-day weekend instead of 2-day weekend. I just found out how we can have a 1-week holiday every month. Are we ready? Turn to your partner and say, I just found out, and pick a benefit that you think would be interesting for them. Okay. Now let's do a little bit of magic. If you have a pencil and paper, write this down, or if you're taking notes on your phone, type this in. We learned 3 phrases, but we're going to put them in a specific order. And when we say these 3 things in this order, people will say, yes, tell me about your business right now. I want to join. It's exciting. And it'll make it easy for us to prospect and get new people. So the first words are, well, you know how. So number 1, well, you know how. And we're familiar with those. Number 2, we're going to say, I just found out. I just found out. And number 3, would it be okay if? Would it be okay if? Here's what's going to happen. We'll say, well, you know how, and they're going to say, yeah, that's true. And we'll say, I just found out. Oh, really? And then we're going to say, would it be okay if? And they're going to say, yes, yes, yes. In that order. So let me give you some examples, because you'll have to do this shortly. I might say, well, you know how we hate this job as we're at work? And they're going to go, yeah, yeah, yeah. I just found out how we can fire the boss. Oh, really? Would it be okay if we talked about it during coffee break? Yes. Is it time for coffee break? How quickly? Let me give another example. Well, you know how we miss our children because we have to work during the day? Yeah. I just found out how we can work out of our home so we can be with our children. Really? Would it be okay if we talked about it tonight with my sponsor? Yeah. Or, well, you know how we don't earn much money on this job? Oh, yeah. I just found out how we can get a second paycheck. Really? Would it be okay if you came to a meeting with me tonight to find out how? Yeah. Well, you know how we would like to have a new car? Yeah. I just found out how we could afford a yellow Camaro. Oh, really? Would it be okay if Rez and I talk to you about that later on? Yeah, yeah. When we talk like that, people go, wow, I get it. You're talking about what I'm interested in. I'm excited. And now when we talk to them about our business, it's a lot easier. So is everybody ready? I'm going to ask you to try by saying, well, you know how, and describe a little problem. I just found out. And then describe how we're going to fix the problem. And then we're going to say, would it be okay if? And they're going to say, yes. Are we ready? Grab our partner and start with, well, you know how, and see how this works for you. Let's begin. Okay, we had our chance. Now, new distributors, they don't know any of this. They don't know how to talk to people. They take good people and make good people say no because they don't talk in the correct way. So let's see what happens. We're at a party, and you're talking to somebody, and you might say, well, you know how we hate going to work every day? And they say, oh, yeah, we hate going to work every day. You say, well, I just found out how we can start a part-time business, so maybe after a year or two, we never have to go to work again. And they say, oh, really? That's interesting. And then we say, would it be okay if we talked about it tomorrow and go to a meeting and see how that works? And they say, yeah. As simple as that, the human mind will say, yes, I want to make a decision for this business. And then they say, but I need to know more now. Tell me now. Well, we don't want to do a whole presentation at the party, so what we'll do is give them a vision. We'll say, well, when you join our business, here's what happens. Every month your checks get bigger and bigger and bigger, and after 2 years, they're so big, you say, I don't need to go to work anymore. And then you walk in to your boss's office and say, I'm sorry, I'm not going to work here anymore. I have enough money. So you'll have to do my work when I'm gone. I'm very sorry. And then you leave your office, get into your yellow Camaro, drive home, and celebrate that you have the rest of your life to do what you want. And what is the person thinking next to us? They're starting to drool. They're saying, oh, yes, that's great. When can we talk? I want to join. And this is where the magic happens. The magic happens in the beginning before you even tell them the name of the company, before you tell them about your business, before you tell them about the products. The magic happens first. So for the new people, they don't know this. And they ruin the first part. We have to teach them because we are the leaders. So if we can master this part of the conversation, our new distributors will have new people come in every week just from normal conversations. So I'm going to review it one more time, and then we're going to try this in real life. I'll say the 3 phrases, and then I'll give them a vision. And in less than 1 minute time, we have got ourselves a new committed distributor in their mind. They can't wait to start, and it took only 1 minute in total. So, you're at work, and you say to somebody at work, well, you know how this job doesn't pay enough? And they go, yeah. I just found out how we can start our own business, and it doesn't cost a lot of money. Oh, really? Would it be okay if you went in business with me? We could do this together. Yeah. But really, it'd be a great business? Well, how does it work? And you say, well, when you join our business, here is what happens. And we're going to take them into the future again and tell them what's going to happen. When you join our business, here's what happens. The first month or 2 months, we're just learning how to do it. Maybe month 3, we get a nice bonus check. Month 4, we get a bigger bonus check. And month 5, it gets bigger. And pretty soon, maybe in 1 or 2 years, our bonus checks are so big, we don't have to work here anymore. We can quit, and we can take holidays together with our families once a month for the rest of our life. And they're thinking, yeah, that is what I want. That's what's interesting for me. They have already joined in their mind, and they don't even know the name of the company. So are we familiar with this process? If we master this process with new people, they will be productive every week with new people. If we don't, they'll talk to their 3 friends and then quit or stop, and they won't grow. So this is the basic building block of a successful business. So let's give this a try. We're going to pretend we meet somebody new, and I'll give you a new person. We're going to say those 3 things, give them a vision, and see them smile and say, yes, I'm ready to get started before we've even done a presentation. So let's all stand up. We've been sitting a long time. Look around the room. Find somebody you don't know. And run up to them and say, well, you know how, and let's see how this process works. Let's begin.
It's going to be a break. We can sell books and sign them. You will be there for signing books. Yeah. 2:15, something like that. 30 minutes. We have 30 minutes for break. Yeah, it's better to. Okay.
Okay. Let me put this away. All right. I have this. All right. All right. I have to start.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. So I can start them. Okay. Okay. Everybody. Let's have a seat. we experienced was how a professional networker begins the conversation. You might be saying, okay, now I understand why some people make it easy to recruit and some people more difficult. The more tips we learn at the beginning, the better. That's where most of the magic happens. Now, you saw a little video by Wes Linden, and Wes Linden is an expert at the follow-up, how to make things happen, and also very, very good at the beginning. The only difference between people that have really successful careers and those that have unsuccessful careers is they learn new skills. If we get started and just do the same things over and over, we're just going to get the same results. But if we learn new skills each day, each week, each month, we learn how to say things better. Now, some people naturally are good at it when they start. They can get better. Some of us are not very good when we start. We can get better. Every person can continue to learn. I've been in network marketing 46 years. I'm still learning. I'm still learning a lot of good things to say that's even better than what I said before. But that's easy for everybody here to understand because that's why we're here. It's the people at home that don't understand it. They think I joined and that's it. It's like being a doctor. You can't say I want to be a doctor, fill out an application. No, we have to learn more and more as we go along. If you're going to be an airline pilot, you have to learn more and more as we go along. So I want to congratulate everybody here because you took the time to say, hey, I want better skills, so when I talk to people, I get better results. Because if we keep doing things the same way, we'll keep getting the same results. Nobody wants to be the same. We all want to be better. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to bring Mr. Payam up, but how many people here, maybe during the break that's coming up, could say, well, you know how, or would it be okay if, or I just found out, or when you join our business, here's what happens. The more we practice, the more natural it sounds. And when it sounds natural, people say, yes, I want to join. So I know you've been sitting a long time this morning, so we're going to bring up Mr. Payam, and then we're going to have a break, which you've all been looking forward to. So let's give a big round of applause for Mr. Payam for making this happen here. Thank you very much.